The image itself was simple, two quarterbacks standing side by side after a workout. But the symbolism carried weight. Second-year Will Howard of the Pittsburgh Steelers, training alongside projected #1 overall pick Fernando Mendoza, isn't just an offseason footnote. It's a snapshot of two careers at very different stages, and possibly two franchises shaping their futures around them. Howard is fighting for relevance. Mendoza is walking into expectation, and somewhere in that contrast lies Pittsburgh's biggest long-term question. Two national champions, two different pressures. Mendoza enters the league as the presumed future of the Las Vegas Raiders. After leading Indiana to a national championship, he's widely expected to be the first name called on draft night. The league sees him as a plug-and-play starter, a franchise reset button. Howard's journey is less certain. A national champion at Ohio State, he arrived in Pittsburgh with tools but not guarantees. Unlike Mendoza, he wasn't handed a franchise label. He was handed development. Now entering year 2, Howard finds himself in a uniquely complex quarterback room. Aaron Rodgers is expected to return in 2026. That means another season of learning, unless something changes. But make no mistake, the Steelers aren't treating Howard like an afterthought. The organizational vote of confidence. General Manager Omar Khan and head coach Mike McCarthy have consistently praised Howard's development. At the NFL Combine, Khan emphasized how much the staff liked Howard coming out of college and how encouraged they've been by his practice progression. That matters. Teams don't casually pass on drafting quarterbacks unless they believe they already have something worth investing in. Pittsburgh reportedly isn't heavily targeting top-tier QB prospects in the 2026 draft, a decision that speaks volumes about their internal evaluation. They aren't panicking, they're watching, they're building, and they're giving Howard space to grow behind one of the most accomplished quarterbacks in league history. Why training with Mendoza is smart. Quarterback development in today's NFL doesn't happen only inside team facilities. The offseason has become a laboratory. Private coaches, film study, peer sessions, and cross-program training. For Howard, working out with Mendoza offers more than conditioning. It's exposure to a different style of preparation. Mendoza is entering the league under intense scrutiny. Every throw is dissected, every interview analyzed. That kind of pressure creates discipline. When two high-level quarterbacks train together, it becomes competitive without being adversarial. Iron sharpens iron. Howard isn't just throwing passes. He's measuring himself against someone the league views as elite. That comparison can fuel growth, not insecurity. And let's be honest, if Mendoza becomes the face of the Raiders for the next decade and Howard eventually claims Pittsburgh's job, this photo may age into something far more meaningful. The beginning of an AFC rivalry built on shared offseason grind. The Rodgers variable. The presence of Rodgers complicates everything and clarifies it at the same time. If Rodgers returns in 2026 as expected, Howard gets another full year to absorb knowledge. That's invaluable. Watching how a future Hall of Famer studies defenses, adjusts protections, and controls tempo can't be replicated in a classroom, but mentorship doesn't guarantee succession. The Steelers will evaluate Howard throughout the 2026 season. Practice reps, preseason performance, film sessions, leadership presence. Then comes 2027. That's when the real decision arrives. Pittsburgh's three paths in 2027. The Steelers' future likely breaks into three potential scenarios. 1. Howard impresses. If his development accelerates and internal evaluations show starting caliber readiness, Pittsburgh could hand him the offense. No draft replacement, no reset, just continuity. Competition model. Draft a quarterback and let them battle Howard in camp. Iron sharpens iron and the best man wins. 3. Full reset. If Howard doesn't demonstrate franchise traits, the Steelers may draft a high upside prospect to start immediately. Right now, the organization probably doesn't know which path it will take. And that's fine. Development isn't linear. What matters is that Howard is still in the conversation. What Howard must prove. Talent alone won't secure Pittsburgh's future. Howard needs to demonstrate command in the huddle, processing speed against complex coverages, pocket presence under pressure, leadership resonance in the locker room. Physical tools get you drafted. Mental consistency earns you trust. Rodgers' 2025 season showed efficiency, but also the limitations of age. Quick releases, fewer vertical risks, calculated conservatism. If Howard can blend decisiveness with aggression, he may eventually offer something stylistically different. And that contrast could be appealing. The psychological battle. Being the backup to a legend is mentally taxing. Every practice throw is compared, every preseason drive overanalyzed. Fans inevitably debate timelines. When should Howard start? Is he ready yet? That pressure can either stunt growth or accelerate it. Training with Mendoza subtly signals confidence. It says Howard doesn't view himself as secondary, he views himself as ascending. Quarterbacks often talk about earning the room. That process starts long before a starting nod is announced. It begins with habits. Who's first in, who's last out, who organizes offseason sessions. Howard's visibility this offseason is increasing. Steelers fans are noticing. That matters. The bigger picture. Pittsburgh isn't just solving a 2026 quarterback question. They're architecting the next decade. Rodgers, if he returns, is a bridge. Maybe a competitive one, maybe even a playoff level one, but still a bridge. Howard represents optionality, a cost-controlled, internally developed potential successor. Meanwhile, Mendoza represents certainty for Las Vegas. The Raiders will likely build everything around him from day one. Different strategies, different timelines, but in that shared workout photo, you see parallel ambition. Two national champions, two quarterbacks stepping into professional pressure, two futures that may collide in January football someday. Why this offseason feels different. There's a subtle shift around Howard this year. Last offseason, he was a developmental piece. Now he's a developmental piece with visible organizational belief. The Steelers aren't aggressively hunting his replacement. They're giving him runway. That doesn't guarantee he becomes the franchise quarterback, but it guarantees opportunity. And in the NFL, opportunity is everything. Hashtag the quiet importance of patience. Quarterback development used to take time. Sit, learn, grow, then start. The modern league demands instant results. Mendoza will likely be thrown into the fire immediately. Howard gets a slower burn. Ironically, that patience could benefit him. Learning behind Rodgers, refining mechanics, building physical durability, and strengthening mental processing without weekly starting pressure might be the ideal incubator. By the time 2027 arrives, Howard could either be ready or definitively not. But this offseason workout suggests he's attacking the process, not waiting on it. A photo that might mean more later. Right now, it's just two quarterbacks training before the draft. In 5 years, it might represent the origin story of something bigger. Maybe Mendoza leads the Raiders deep into playoff runs. Maybe Howard becomes Pittsburgh's long-term answer. Maybe they meet in a high-stakes AFC showdown. Or maybe Howard never claims the Jums a footnote. That's the beauty of this stage of the NFL calendar. Everything is projection. Everything is possibility. What's undeniable is this. Will Howard isn't sitting idle behind Aaron Rodgers. He's working. He's aligning himself with elite peers. He's positioning for the moment when Pittsburgh finally asks the question, are you ready? And when that moment comes, workouts like this won't just be off-season noise. They'll be part of the foundation.